a man who always smiled in front of cameras, a face that radiated calm, professionalism, and grace, even when the world expected him to be perfect every single day. But that night, something broke. His body, exhausted beyond measure, could no longer carry the weight of that perfection. And in one silent second, he fell, collapsing into the freezing river beneath the film lights. The cameras kept rolling for just a moment longer, until the sound of water splashing shattered the illusion of cinema. The set fell into chaos. No laughter, no applause, just panic. Xiao Zhan had fainted, right in the middle of an emotional scene by the river. Hello, drama lovers. Welcome back to the world of K-pop. Tonight, we're not talking about fame, glamour, or awards. We're talking about something real, a night that left fans across Asia breathless, a moment that made even Wang Yibo fall silent. So, what really happened that night on set? It began as a simple emotional sequence. The scene called for sorrow, a man walking through shallow water, searching for something he had lost, surrounded by darkness and quiet light. The script described grief, silence, and surrender. But behind the lens, the cold was merciless. The water was freezing, and Xiao Zhan had been working for days without proper rest. The schedule was brutal, long hours, multiple shoots, rehearsals, and endless retakes. Yet, as always, he didn't complain. He smiled through it, because for him, the show must go on, no matter how heavy the burden. When the director called action, everyone fell quiet. The camera followed him as he walked through the water, every step heavy with emotion. His eyes carried the pain of the character, heartbreak, loss, solitude. It was perfect, until suddenly he stopped. His lips parted, as if to breathe, and then, without warning, his body fell into the river. "Help him! Quickly!" someone shouted. In seconds, crew members ran toward the freezing current. His assistant didn't hesitate. She dove in, pulling him out with trembling arms. The lights dimmed, cameras cut, and time seemed to stop. On the riverbank, Xiao Zhan lay pale and motionless. His skin was cold, his pulse faint. For a long moment, no one dared to speak. Minutes felt like hours. And then, finally, his eyes fluttered open. He gasped softly, his lips trembling. Someone wrapped him in blankets. Someone else cried. But even in that fragile moment, he whispered something that broke everyone's heart. "I'm cold, but please don't stop filming. I can still continue." The crew froze. Some couldn't believe what they'd heard. How could someone who just fainted in icy water still think about finishing a scene? It wasn't pride. It wasn't stubbornness. It was love for his craft, for the people watching, for the promise he made to himself long ago. Never let them see you give up. When the on-set doctor arrived, the diagnosis was clear: extreme exhaustion and early hypothermia. He needed immediate rest. But even then, he apologized. "I'm sorry for the trouble," he said, shivering, his lips pale. "I didn't mean to cause delays." That's who he was. Humble, gentle, unwaveringly professional. Within hours, the news spread like wildfire. Hashtags flooded every social platform. #GetWellSoon Xiao Zhan began trending worldwide. Fans from every corner of the globe sent messages, some in tears, some angry that he had pushed himself too far, all united by love and worry. But behind the digital noise, one person's reaction stood out: Wang Yibo. According to several staff members on another set, Yibo went completely silent when he heard the news. He stared at his phone for a long time, eyes distant, before quietly walking away. One insider said he looked drained, as if the news hit him somewhere deep. Not long after, he made a phone call. Many believe it was to Xiao Zhan. We may never know what was said on that call, if words were even spoken at all. But people close to them say that night, Yibo stayed up, asking for updates, canceling interviews, waiting to hear just 2 words: "He's okay." And when those words finally came, he simply smiled faintly and said, "Good. He's strong as always." Sometimes care doesn't need to be loud. It lives in silence, in the spaces between words, in the quiet that follows worry. Over the next few days, filming was postponed. The production team insisted he rest. Photos from the set showed Xiao Zhan wrapped in thick blankets, his face pale but still smiling softly. When he finally spoke to fans, his message was simple. "I'm fine. Just a little cold. Don't worry, I'll be back soon." That short message carried warmth that words alone couldn't describe. It was his way of saying, "I'm still here.
Don't worry about me."
But for many, that moment was a painful reminder that behind the lights, the fame, the flawless performances, there is a fragile human being. That even the strongest hearts can grow tired. And maybe for Wang Yibo, that night was more than just a news headline. It was a reminder of someone who once stood beside him through chaos, someone who understood him without words. The kind of bond that doesn't need to be public to be real. An insider revealed that Yibo kept checking for updates, texting their shared staff, waiting for a sign of recovery. And when he finally heard Xiao Zhan was sitting up, joking again, he just exhaled, as if releasing a weight he'd been holding for hours. "Good," he whispered. "He's still fighting." Those were simple words, but they carried a quiet tenderness. Because sometimes, care doesn't come in dramatic gestures. It comes in patience, in quiet prayers, in staying awake through the night just to know someone's okay. Days passed. Xiao Zhan slowly recovered. He was seen walking by the river again, this time not as an actor, but as himself. Wrapped in a scarf, holding a cup of hot tea, smiling at the crew who cheered softly when they saw him. Someone asked if he planned to resume filming soon. He smiled. "Of course. But this time, please let me rest just a little longer." The crew clapped. They knew. They had witnessed something few ever do, not just talent, but devotion. When the lights dimmed that evening, the river reflected the quiet glow of the set. Some crew members whispered that they would never forget that night, not because of the panic, but because of what it revealed, the heart of an artist. For fans, the memory lingers, bittersweet yet inspiring, because they saw not just a star, but a human being who gave his all, who poured his soul into every scene, every emotion, every heartbeat. And for Wang Yibo, that night became a quiet scar, a reminder that even the brightest lights can flicker, a reminder of care unspoken, of gratitude, of shared silence between two souls who once stood side by side beneath the same spotlight. Maybe they don't talk much now. Maybe they don't appear together on screen anymore. But like the moon and the stars, they still shine, apart, yet connected by the same sky. Because real friendship doesn't need words. It breathes in stillness. It lives in the gentle worry that never asks for attention. That night, under the freezing air and trembling lights, that silent care was real. So, what do you think, drama lovers? Did you feel it too? That quiet warmth beneath the cold night? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because in the world of K-pop, the most beautiful stories are not about fame, but about humanity. Stay strong, Xiao Zhan. And to everyone watching, keep believing in the quiet kind of love, the kind that doesn't fade when the cameras stop rolling.